dementia in my family history. So remember, there's two parts to your fish oil, EPA, DHA. EPA is for like all your body parts, your physical parts, like your skin, your joints. If you've got arthritis, you really need to take fish oil. It decreases the inflammation. It helps your hair, nails, skin, joints, and so on. The DHA is for the brain. That's why for kids supplements or infant supplements, you're going to see DHA only. It's because their brain hasn't stopped developing, so you're really feeding the brain. I know Dr. Cameron had this question, but what percentage of that is the brain? Did I ask that right?
How much of the brain is made up of fat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Anybody remember?
I've been called a fathead.
Well, now you can take it as a compliment.
Okay.
It's actually 65, so you need to feed that. 65% is a big part of the brain. So the only way you feed that is through DHA. So we used to get that through food. Now our domestication of our animal and fish and poultry industry, there's not really enough omega-3 in our food anymore. So that's one thing I strongly push is this supplement. For me, I just feel good knowing I'm feeding my brain every day by taking it. And then also, I mean, to this day, I don't have any joint pain, and I know my family's got tons of arthritis, so I'm thinking I don't have any arthritis so far, and I'm feeling like a lot of it has to do with taking fish oil for all these years. Doses, you know, there's some good doses there. Those are pretty aggressive doses, just so you know, but there's nothing wrong. People say, can you take too much? The only negative side effect I know of too much is diarrhea or loose bowel. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, you probably could take too much and gain some weight from taking, like I take it in an oil. If I drank the whole bottle, I'd have diarrhea for sure. But don't worry about getting too much. At least try to shoot for those numbers. And then B total, I see so many people have low Bs, and they're taking capsules. But a lot of times the capsules aren't absorbing in the gut, and you know, a lot of people have digestive issues. So B sublingual is a good idea, B shots is a good idea, but you can also get tested to find out, do I need the B12 especially, and B6 and folic acid can all be tested in the blood just to know if your numbers are low. So any other supplement anybody wants to ask me about that you're taking, or you feel like you should take, or you want to take? There's so many different supplements out there. We could go, I'm going to just keep going because we'll talk a little bit more about them. You know, high blood pressure, I won't spend too much time because I don't know what your history is here, but if your blood pressure is high, of course diet's important. Getting some sodium out and getting some potassium in, super important. What foods have high potassium? Anybody know? Bananas? Melons, oranges, peaches, grapefruits. So those would be some good foods to eat if your blood pressure is high. Magnesium is another wonderful product that helps lower blood pressure naturally. Getting caffeine out of your diet is another wonderful way, and getting more hydrated. Your body needs hydration if your blood pressure is high. And I have almost all of my clients get off their blood pressure meds if that's their goal. It's not that difficult to do. Doctors seem to put lots of people on that these days. Even, you know, I have clients who are in their 20s on blood pressure meds. It's like, no, that's not good. High cholesterol, of course, diet's the #1 thing to change. Getting your sugar down, balancing your diet, getting those omega-3s into your system. Anybody have any other things that they do for cholesterol, or know of their family member doing, or things you want to share? I feel like the biggest thing is diet and activity level. Definitely the first place to start. Some people will take like a cholesterol supplement, you know, that has red rice yeast in it. Heard of that? That can work very well, but there's controversy over that supplement as well, just because it does affect the liver too. Better than Lipitor or a statin, in my opinion. But still, I think a better place to start would be diet, exercise, and some fish oil. Energy, we talked a little bit about that already. You know, maximizing energy, the first thing you need to do is get the sugar down and balance your diet. Sugar, coffee, any stimulant is just spiking, and that's going to cause low energy for sure. People say, well, coffee gives me energy. Well, it does for maybe an hour, and then it's crashing you. So it's a drug. Sugar's a drug. So anytime you're using something artificial for energy, you got to start rethinking what you're doing, because all it's doing is stimulating and crashing, and it's just a vicious cycle that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So, you know, that's one thing that I have done with some of my clients is using nano reds and nano greens. I've had a client come into my office, very, very busy man, used coffee, Red Bulls, Monsters all day long. I'm serious, I'm not exaggerating. He lived out of his car. Yeah. But, I mean, he wasn't even doing that anymore because he was just so used to it. But he didn't believe me that I could get him using nutrition for energy and not the stimulants. It took a while, but I did use, in his case, I used greens and reds, some bees, through the day in his water bottle, because every time he started to crash, I said, you can have your caffeine or Red Bull, but you've got to have this first. Then you can have it. And he got off of it because he noticed that, hey, my energy's feeling pretty good. And he, you know, he lived in his car. That was the problem. And he said, you know, he had 3 businesses, so he didn't have time to go get some vegetables and eat a big salad. You know, what can I do? And that's the ideal way to go. But I did manage to get him off the stimulants and using nutrition for energy.
He must have crashed hard.
Yeah, he was a hard case, but, and you know, I think his desperation was coming. He was realizing that he was getting further into a hole because he'd been doing this so long, and he wasn't very old. So he would have ended up in a hospital somewhere if that's the lifestyle we would have kept. Digestion and absorption. There's lots of things, you know, first of all, I think eating better balanced is a good way to start. I get a lot of people who come to me and they say, I have a lot of bloating. Bloating can come from eating too many carbohydrates, very gassy forming, eating foods that don't agree with you. Dairy can do that. So what's good to do, and this is funny to see happen, but when people clean up their diets, like eating balanced, eating healthy, wholesome food, and then all of a sudden they start putting in some milk and they get severe symptoms. You know, food allergies start to show up, or food that your body doesn't like starts to show up once you clean out your system. Right now you're not noticing what it is because I think everything seems to feel like it may be bothering your gut. But that's one way to know if there are some things that are bothering you. Constipation, diarrhea, I get a lot of that complaint when I work with clients. You know, eating processed food, I mean, all these things that people do, and low-fat diets really can cause a lot of problems, can cause the constipation problems especially. So when you're eating more healthy food, you're getting that healthy fat in your diet, you're taking fish oil, you'll notice that some of those problems just go away. There are some supplements you can take that if you do feel like a lot of people have the IBS or that stress response, the mind-body response. So I have those people doing a digestive enzyme. I have them doing a probiotic. That also helps with constipation, helps with diarrhea too. It helps regulate the flora in the body. And when you have coffee, alcohol, medication, processed food, your flora in your large intestine will be messed up. That's just for sure. So taking a probiotic might be a good thing to do. You're going to be doing a detox, which I'm excited about, because that's a good time for you to get the digestive system, the flora, everything better balanced in the gut, which is huge. I believe all disease and illness starts in the gut. If you've got gut problems, you want to figure it out and get it working. It's the first place to start, in my opinion. Any questions about that? You know, go ahead.
Can you take too much probiotic?
You can. Only what usually happens that I find is people aren't used to the good flora because it's bacteria. It's a good bacteria. Mm-hmm. They will get diarrhea or stomach problems like gas and bloating because their body isn't used to it and it's having a hard time regulate out. It's kind of hard to get too much absorption of it because a lot of times you take it, you're not going to absorb 100% of the probiotic you're taking. You're only going to get a little bit because the acid, everything destroys some of it.
So you can't, can you double, I mean, I've been doubling up on probiotics because I just live like that, that's me.
And you feel better with it, doubled up?